Yo, what's up, guys? So this one is called Read Requests. What I would say is never ask anybody to read your shit. Maybe if you know them, but I would suggest, I'm gonna get into some of this, but in general, I would say it's based off a tweet. In general, I would say wait for them to ask you to read your shit. You know what I'm saying? There's been several people who've asked me like, hey, can I read one of your scripts? You know, and I've sent them something, and even though, because I'm a great writer, I'm joking, but kind of true. I'm decent. Even when they came back to me and said, I fucking loved it, bro. It was fucking dope as fuck. See, I never remember. Even when they came back and said like it was, yeah, I read it. It's dope as fuck. I didn't ask them like, is there someone you can send it to? Never ask that. Never ask that. Never. In my opinion, don't ask people to read your shit. And I'll get into why in 1 second. Or even if they say, I fucking loved it, don't ask them, is there someone you can send this to? They'll tell you. They'll tell you if they know someone. Here's why. Because sometimes people will reach it and be like, I loved it, but I don't know who to send this to. I don't people, they'll probably think of that. Like if they like you and they fucking read it and they loved it, they'll probably think like, do I know someone who I can send this to? And they're like, no, I don't. So then they just tell you like, I loved it. Keep going, man. Like, great script. Good luck out there. Like, keep going. That kind of shit. Like, that's all I have for you. You know, but there's a lot of writers who are like, I want to get into this. So Cindy Cindy said this, DM, hey, could I ask a favor? I wrote a short. Read it? Question mark. She says, me. I hate being addressed as hey. It's rude, and it is. I have no idea who you are. You shouldn't ask people you don't know for favors. And the DM says, it's not rude. It's the most universal greeting in the world. Industry is built on favors. No? She's like, no. That's what I'm getting out of this. You know? And I'm reading this, I'm like, yeah, like what the fuck is this person doing? You know, like I've had people hit me like that. And I've never read them. You know what I mean? Like people just they just try to hit everybody and just be like, it's not that big of a deal to read me. I'll tell you why it is in 1 second. Give me 1 second and I'll tell you why it is such a fucking big deal. But a lot of brand new writers feel like it's no big deal. Just read me and you'll see why I'm so great, and then send it to whoever you know, and then I'll be rich and famous or whatever, and then I'll give you a little pat on the head. Okay, favors is what we're talking about right here. Favors. Can I ask you a favor? I mean, you're asking a lot. You know, that's the main thing writers don't realize they're doing, is they think it's just a little favor. I'm just all I'm asking for is for a fucking read. That's a long time to spend. And let me go through this. Well, let me read Isaac's response first, and then I'll get into that. Isaac said, I was brought up on a favor asked. I was brought up on a favor asked is a favor returned. Okay? See, that's one of the, and I said, and I just reposted that. I said, that's a fucking great point. Because a lot of writers aren't thinking that. They're not thinking like, yeah, how am I going to return this favor? You know? And Isaac said, I'd love to know what he thinks he's going to give back to you. And then Cindy continues, you know, 100%. You know, it's like, how are you going to repay me, first of all? You know, like, But too many writers think like, I'm if you read it, you're gonna love it. But here's the thing: is like writers, like especially big writers who've done shit, the first thing they're gonna think is 99.99999% of the scripts that anybody sends me is not gonna be. It's either not gonna be good enough, or it's not gonna be a thing that I feel like I should champion for any reason, because they're thinking like, I said that the other day, that writers are trying to break in through other writers. So, I'm not speaking for Cindy or anybody else. I'm speaking for me. Plenty of writers are like, bro, like, I'm trying to get my shit going. Like, you want me to read your shit and you want me to like bypass my own self and try to help you? What do I get out of that? I'm not your agent. I'm not your fucking manager. Okay, so like, I'm not getting anything out of this. And then they're like, but I'll pay you back later, bro. Like, once I'm rich and famous, like, I'll try to help you somehow. Do you know how many people have said that to everybody? It's like everybody says that. Okay? Every single person who writes thinks that. So writers who have been through the industry, and know shit, know that I'm gonna be hit up all the fucking time. And people are gonna try to like, use me as a stepping stone to get to the next fucking place. And then they won't fucking try to help me back, And the thing about favors too is most people in the industry know that. Most people in the industry are like, I have never used my favors. I have so many stacked up and I don't even use them. Because they're like, these favors are probably more precious than actually money. So I'm gonna save these favors for when I super fucking need it. And most people don't cash in their favors. That's a crazy thing about favors, is most people do not cash them in. Okay? That's good money now, because a lot of writers think like, it's just, I don't understand why this producer cannot just read me real quick. Just read me real quick and you'll see, and you want to do my thing. And I've broken that down before, like what the cost is, and it's like tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the producer. Depending on, if you break down like what do they make in a year, break it down, like how much it would cost them to read the script. There's certain producers, it's 20 grand. That's a $20,000 read. And writers are like, it's no big deal, man. Like, it is. It is a big deal. Or an agent or whatever, because they're like, bro, like, if I do the cost analysis on this, like, you're asking me for 10 grand to just read your shit. And I know it's probably not going to be something I can make money off. So I'm losing a lot of money by reading your thing. Okay? Let me go here real quick. I don't know what brings this up, but Hollywood script reader. I would say go follow him. You know what I mean? Like, I think his bio is is fucking hilarious, bro. And I guess this is why I'm bringing this up, because I have not given enough. I talk a lot of shit, right? But I have not given enough shout outs to readers. So, like Hollywood script reader, go follow him. I could tell straight away that he's a real reader. He knows what he's fucking talking about, this kind of thing. But his bio is this: I'm the gatekeeper, the first hurdle, and the most important person in Hollywood, as far as you're concerned. which is fucking hilarious, bro, because it's fucking true. Um, he says, I can't say yes, but I can say no. So listen up. That's fucking hilarious, bro. And true. You know, I haven't given enough. I talk a lot of shit on like sort of contest readers and this kind of shit. But a Hollywood reader, you know, like for a production company or like a agency or this kind of shit is a totally different thing. You know, I've never made that point. I don't think so. I want to make that point right now. Is like a script reader for like some, you know, service. Who gives a fuck what they think? But like a script reader for like I don't want to name names, but like a big company, yeah, man, like they can fucking destroy you. You know what I mean? Like, so I agree. You know, like, yeah, unless you have enough connections to bypass the readers. See, I do say that. Like, if you have enough connections to bypass people like Hollywood script reader, then okay. But if you don't, then you know he might fuck you up and be like, no, you're not fucking good enough. It's a fucking no for me. You know, and so obviously people like that know what the boss wants. You know, and so whatever. So I would follow him, you know, and people like that. I would take what they say like pretty seriously, you know, because not everybody, you know, it's pretty rare to be able to bypass and go around people straight to the fucking boss. And I've said that before. Like I tend to get better reads from the boss. I don't tend to do well with people like Hollywood scriptwriter. He'd probably shred my shit and be like, no, it's a no for me. And it never makes it to the boss. See? But yeah, you don't want to. I don't know why this is such a thing. I don't know why it's such a thing where it's like you got to spell this out for people. Like, do not ask me for a read. Like, I don't fucking know you. Like, you just followed me like 2 days ago, and now you're in my fucking DMs like saying, "Hey, can you give me a read?" It's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is. And what the fuck do you think I'm gonna do with it anyway? You know what I mean? Like, you know, writers trying to break into writers. What do you think the writer's gonna do? Like, oh, I'm signed. Like, yeah, I have a big agent. All this kind of shit. You think they're gonna read your thing and be like, you know what? Let me give your thing to my agent, or any like, let me give your thing to like a big producer I know. Why would they do that? There's no incentive to do that. Zero. So, in my recommendation, you know, I would say if someone happens to do that, okay, cool. Thank you so much, man, for giving my shit to somebody, but never ask them for that. Because I guarantee you, you do not have the clout or the gravitas, you know, to make it worth their while. You don't. Probably. And they know that. They're like, there's a 99.9999% chance that I don't think this script is good enough for someone. And even if it was, if I gave it to someone, let's play the hypothetical out. Even if I gave it to someone and they signed them and they went off and they did a fucking show, they wouldn't even fucking pay me back. They wouldn't even fucking hire me as a writer on the show, for example. You know, or what does that mean for a fucking feature? Like, think about it. So I give a feature to somebody, what's that gonna do for me? I'll put in a good word for you. Like, that doesn't, I already know them. How much better of a good word you can put in for me? You know what I mean? Like, I already fucking know them. So that's not gonna help me. So how are you going to pay me back? How are you going to return the favor? You know, like Isaac said, a favor asked is a favor returned. How are you going to return the favor? A lot of writers don't even think about that. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I know, because you don't give a fuck. Because you're just trying to step on heads and just try to use people and just try to get ahead. You know what I mean? Like this is widely known between in the like for writers that are like, I wouldn't even say just like big deals. I would say writers that are have any experience at all know that other writers are going to be like try to glom onto them and try to step on their head and try to use them and try to jump above them and just be like fucking bye. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to earn trust off of a writer or an agent or a manager or anybody. You know what I mean? Like that's called the connection game. That's how connections are built. You know what I mean? And I learned this. I'll end with this. I learned that a friend of mine said, when I said I'm gonna write a screenplay, he said I'm gonna help you through the process. Who introduced me? You could probably figure out who the fuck it is. I won't say who it is. I'll deny it if you figure it out. Said I'll help you through the process of writing the screenplay. And so I started, and I was at an event. It was at CA, by the way. Same day I met Franklin, by the way. If you want to know who the fuck I'm talking about, Franklin, you were there. You know who I'm talking about. And so on the way out, I said, so he said, I'll help you, like, I'll roll up my sleeves. That's what he said. I'll roll up my sleeves. You know, typical, like, bullshit people say. I'll roll up my sleeves and try to help you. And so then I wrote a script and asked him to read it. And he said, no. I'm like, can I send you some pages? He's like, oh, I'm busy, bro. You know, the whole thing, like, oh, I'm busy, bro. I'm like, you just introduced me to a super famous person. You figure out who I'm talking about. As family. And you can't read a couple pages? You just, like, I didn't ask you for that. I didn't ask you to help me on the script. You just offered, like, I'll roll up my sleeves and fucking help you. So I said, cool. Like, thanks, man. And then when I went to you, I was like, can you read some pages? And you're like, I'm busy, bro. And that day, as I'm walking out, I was like, can I ask you a question real quick? I have a question about something. He's like, I don't have time, bro. Like, I don't have time. I'm like, we're walking to the car right now. Like, what do you mean you don't have time? Like, I'll just walk you to the car and ask you this question real quick. And then you just tell me and we're done. Like, but I could tell, nope. He saw me as one of them now. Even though he said, I will help you. I'll roll up my sleeves. No. See, that's Hollywood for you, man. Is like, I saw the flip. Okay, you think I'm one of those people now. And same with my ex, dude. As soon as I told her I want to write a screenplay, she flipped on me, dude. She flipped on me and saw me as one of them. You're one of them, like trying to use me to try to get your shit made. Okay. I'm like, are you fucking crazy? I've been with you for 17 years at this point. You think I'm fucking like one of them? Are you fucking dumb? But people in Hollywood they're like that. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I'm like that too. You know what I mean? It's just beating into you. Over time, people will learn that people in Hollywood feel a lot that people are trying to use me. So that can be triggered very quickly, is what I'm saying. So if you like, don't reach out to me, man. You know what I mean? Don't reach out to me to read your shit because I fucking won't. You know, I still owe my friends reads. They know who they are, but I'm just saying, like that should be something that's widely known in the industry. Is never approach someone and ask them for a read. Never. Because the first thing they're going to think is like, okay, so you're trying to use me and you think you're smarter than me. And you don't even understand what you're fucking doing here. Okay? That's how green you are. That's the first thing they're going to think. You're so fucking green. You don't even realize how much I'm not going to read your script and how much I'm not going to fucking help you. Like, I'll let you know if I want to fucking help you, okay? So, there's the end of that. I'm just saying, my recommendation is just wait for someone to offer to read your shit. And even if they say, I fucking loved it, don't ask them to send it to anybody. Just be like, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the read. And that's it. And they'll let you know. They'll let you know if they can think of someone that they want to send it to. Send it to. You see what I'm saying? So you don't have to ask them. Because obviously they wanna if they have like, oh my God, like I have the perfect person to send this to, then obviously they're gonna want to send your shit to them to help them and to help you and to help them. And cool, you guys came together, you guys have a thing, cool. Like, you know, like obviously they want to help people, you know, like a lot of people in the industry really do want to help people, but they're just very particular about who they try to help because so many people want help that you can't help everybody. And there's, to be blunt, man, there's a lot of people who aren't good enough, who it's like, why would I try to help you, bro? Like, your writing sucks, dude. So I'm not gonna fucking put my neck out for you. You know? If you can't beat me on the page, do you think I'm gonna send your shit to someone and fucking ruin my reputation? Absolutely not. You know, but if you see someone that is, I'm almost done. If you see someone that is like amazing on the page, and you know, if I send this writer over to them, I already know 100% that they'll just be like, this writer is fucking crazy good. And like, what the fuck? Even if they pass, you know what I mean? Even if they pass, they're like, that was a fucking really strong script. But I'm gonna pass for these reasons. You know, most likely that's what's gonna happen. So, but most writers think, no, they're gonna flip the fuck out and make me $1 million. Probably not. Most writers don't understand how fucking hard it is to get those kind of deals. It's almost unheard of. Bye, guys.